want to thank you on behalf of the people.
Relations between the U.S. and its staunchest ally, Israel, have dramatically improved since President Donald Trump took charge of the White House in January 2017. Trump's accession to the Oval Office was followed by the expansion of illegal settlements in the occupied Palestinian territories, while Israel intensified its aggression against Palestinians. The U.S. has also repeatedly wielded its veto power to shield Israel by blocking efforts at the United Nations to hold the regime accountable for its violations of international law. President Trump's policy of appeasement toward Israel reached its climax last December when he formally recognized Jerusalem al-Quds as Israel's capital, a much criticized measure which further emboldened Israel and dashed hopes for a lasting peace in the Middle East. The United Nations Human Rights Council was established in 2006 with the aim of promoting and protecting human rights around the globe, as well as prohibiting alleged human rights violations. Now, in a move which is unprecedented in the 12-year history of the UN body, the U.S. has withdrawn from the Council. U.S. envoy to the UN, Nikki Haley, who announced the decision alongside America's top diplomat, accused the organization of chronic bias against Israel.
For too long, the Human Rights Council has been a protector of human rights abusers and a cesspool of political bias. And the Council continues politicizing and scapegoating of countries with positive human rights records in an attempt to distract from the abusers in their ranks. We take this step because our commitment does not allow us to remain a part of a hypocritical and self-serving organization that makes a mockery of human rights.
The UN Human Rights Council has a permanent standing agenda item on Israel's violations against Palestinians in the occupied territories. The U.S. wanted the agenda to be removed as part of changes it had sought at the Council.
But what the United States is currently interested in is the notion that we pay these organizations a large sums of money, and therefore they need to have or to adopt resolutions and decisions and go the way we want them to go. In a sense, we pay you and then we own you.
Last month, the 47-member body also voted to investigate Israel's killing of Palestinian protesters in Gaza. Washington's withdrawal is the latest U.S. rejection of multilateral engagement after it pulled out of the Paris Climate Accord and the Iran nuclear deal. The U.S. announcement drew criticism from UN Human Rights Chief Zeid Ra'ad al-Hussein, who urged Washington not to step back on rights issues. The European Union said the U.S. move to quit the UN Human Rights Council risks undermining the country's role as a supporter of democracy. The British Foreign Secretary called the move regrettable, while a dozen advocacy groups accused the U.S. of withdrawing from its global obligations to protect human rights. As expected, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu praised the U.S. for leaving the Council. Last year, the U.S. pulled out of the UN Cultural Agency, known as UNESCO, again over what it called bias against Israel, following several resolutions in favor of Palestinians. The U.S. withdrawal from the UN Human Rights Council comes as the Trump administration is under mounting pressure to end its controversial practice of separating minors from their migrant parents who enter America illegally.
This current administration, the deeds, the way their approach, basically, with regards to the immigration problem that they have, is pretty much inhumane.
Washington is also under fire over what has been described by rights groups as racial police profiling of Black people and killing unarmed African Americans.